everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm deciding that I have too many eyeshadow palettes. So I decided to do a decluttering video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so this is, this collection here is my smaller palettes. I think all of them are 9 pans, really 9 pans or less, really. Or yeah, 9 pans or less. So I'm going to first go through this and then I'm going to go through my bigger ones. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And first of all, I'm going to start with this Wet n Wild palette here. This is a 4-pan palette. It's a really beautiful, like, basic palette for whenever you need to be like one and done almost. What I like about the Wet n Wild ones actually is that embossed in each of the eyeshadows is actually where to put it, which is awesome. So I'm going to keep that one. Next up is a little bit of a compliment to the Wet n Wild one. This is a mini Smashbox palette, and any palettes that I'm decluttering, I'm going to try and sell them. Or if they're too old, I'm going to just throw them away. This one I'm going to keep as well because it's a really good little neutral thing that complements really anything that I have in my collection. The next little one is this Baby Kaja one I bought a few months ago, and it's one of those it's the bento, one of those bento ones, which comes with 3 colors. This one has 2 mattes and a shimmer. It's a really good like summer trio, I guess you could say. I haven't had a chance to wear it yet because it's been very cold here. But I'm going to keep that and see about if I use it over the summer. Next up is the Viseart Petite Pro 2. As you can see, this one has been well loved. I really like using this. Viseart shadows are amazing. I'm going to be keeping this one. But it's a beautiful, like, pinky, purpley toned palette, and I really love it. So that is staying. I promise you I'm decluttering some, but this is another one. This is the Petite Pro 5 Soleil one. Again, it's a beautiful summer palette. Again, I think I got this the end of last summer, so it hasn't been used at all really, but I'm hoping to use it a lot this summer. Alright, so next up is the Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions palette. I actually use this for cosplay. I use this color specifically for my Black Widow eyebrows. I do not do my eyebrows on a regular basis, so eyeshadow with an eyebrow brush and a spoolie works really well, so I do use this quite a bit when it comes to cosplay, so that's staying. Okay, well, let's get into one that I'm gonna get rid of. This one is very, very old. This is the Etude House Pink Skull palette. Pink Skull Color Eyes PK002. I've had this for about 5 years now. As you can see, I've hit pan on one of the colors. It's a beautiful palette, but it's just very old, and I have newer palettes that are the same color palette that, you know, they're newer and they're not as old and grody, so that's gonna go. I also have 2 of these palettes. This is the Vanilla Co eyeshadow palette. Well, I've got 2 of them. So this one is it's got a cream in there, which is incredibly inconvenient. These are beautiful eyeshadows, and I also have a pastel. So I'm actually gonna be getting rid of the cream one because the cream in it is quite gross. So I'm going to be getting rid of that one. As for the pastel one, I'm going to keep this one because I do not have a lot of pastel palettes. I have the Aura Out, but it's a green tone versus this one is quite neutral. I really like it, so I'm going to hold on to that one. Next up is the Huda Beauty Khaki Haze. This is a new palette to me. I love it. I love the grungy feel to this palette, and that's one that is sticking around. And I also have the Nude Light from Huda Beauty as well. This one, again, is also new to me. I have the larger Naughty Nude, which is a darker version, and I really liked the lighter version of this Obsessions palette, so I'm going to keep that one as well. And speak of the devil, here's the Aura and Out palette from ColourPop. Again, it's a really beautiful pastel palette, perfect for summer. I haven't had a chance to really use it all that much. As you can see, I have used it a few times, but I'm hoping to really get some use out of it over this summer. This is an empty quad. I'm going to keep it because it's actually really handy because I can take the magnetic Etude House magnetic shadows that fit in this. And, but yeah, it's just an empty eyeshadow palette. It's great. This is the NARS Danger Control eyeshadow palette. This one I'm going to declutter. It's all shimmers, but it's completely like, it's almost like toppers. Like they don't really show up all that well. It's not my favorite formula and I haven't used it in a long time. So that one's gonna go. All right, I have this one. This one is an Ulta Beauty palette. This came from my best friend a few years ago as part of a set. She sent me a set. This is the You Caught My Eye palette. It's a really pretty little palette. I just don't use it, and I have other palettes with the same color scheme, so I'm gonna declutter this one. All right, the next one is Cloud Spun from ColourPop, and this one's a beautiful pink tone palette. I love this palette. I've used it so much. And I'm really excited, and I think I'm going to use it much more over the summer. I really love it. And then I have the Baroque palette from ColourPop as well. It's a beautiful like fall, winter, like cool tone, taupey shades. Again, I'm not going to get much use of this over the summer, but I'm really excited to keep it for the fall and the winter. So I'm really going to keep that one. Next up, I have the ABH Norvina collection. I think this was in Mini Pro Pigment Palette Volume 2. This is the green and orange one. It's a really beautiful little palette. I'm really excited. I like colorful palettes to experiment with, as well as like using them in the spring and summer, so that one is staying. I have the Etude House Heart Blossom palette, and this one is in number 4, Dry Blossom. This is kind of a neutrally mauve tone palette. It's a beautiful, beautiful neutral tone palette. I really like Etude House shadows because they're very neutral, but they're very lightweight and they don't overpower your eye at all. So this one is staying because I use it so much. I also have the Etude House Heart Blossom. This one's number 1. This is Beige Blossom. Again, another 6-pan little mini palette in more of a brown neutrally tone, which is really beautiful as well. I use both of these palettes so much, so they're both staying. I have the Marc Jacobs. Oop. I have this Marc Jacobs one here. I got this a couple years ago. This is the iconic 840 Electric palette. This one I use in the wintertime a lot. I love the silver in it. I love the black. The black is really beautiful, and I love all the neutrals as well as the pink shimmers, so that one is staying. Smashbox Nova. Like, this is one of those cover shot 8-pan palettes, I think. Yeah. And this is in Nova. It's got a really beautiful, like, star theme on the front, and that's what it looks like. It's a very smoky, very, very smoky palette. I'm going to declutter this one because I have numerous other ones that are just like it. Next up, this one is also a cover shot. This is the Sultry eyeshadow palette. I'm going to hold on to this one for now. However, if I don't use it because it's a fall and winter palette, and if I don't use it this fall and winter, then I'm going to declutter it. So I'm going to hold on to it for now. And then I have this one. This is the cover shot. This is the Pinks and Palms palette, which is very summery. I'm really excited to use it again. I haven't had a chance to use it very often until like now. So this is going to be another summer option for me. So it's staying. Then I have the Ciate London palette. I've used it once. This is the Velvet palette. This came in a boxy charm. Get it open there. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. Like, the colors in it are absolutely beautiful. I gotta think about it for a second though, because I don't know if... Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this and get a few more uses out of it before I decide to declutter it. So this one is sticking around. Next up is my only Kylie Cosmetics product I ever bought. This is the Blue Honey palette. I really like this palette, and because it's my only Kylie Cosmetics palette product at all, I'm gonna hold on to it for now. I really love the color in it, like the blue and like the warm yellow and stuff. It's beautiful fall winter palette, so that one's staying. And then I have these Too Faced. This is from the Tutti Frutti collection. This is Sparkling Pineapple. As you can see, that gold shade in the middle I've used a lot. I've used this palette a lot. It's a beautiful neutral tone palette with that touch of glitter. The glitter in this is incredibly, incredibly soft, as you can see. I push too hard. I have quite a heavy hand, so I dug into it a little bit, but I really like this palette, so this one's sticking around. And this is the raspberry one, the Razzle Dazzle Berry one. I used this one today, actually, on my eyes, on my makeup, so this is obviously sticking around. As you can see, I've actually hit pan on this shade here. I love these palettes. They smell amazing, and I love to use them. Next up, I think this one came in my BoxyCharm, I'm pretty sure. This is the Huda Beauty Ruby Obsessions beautiful red tone palette. It's a gorgeous palette to use all over the eye, and it's a really nice, really, really beautiful toned palette. So that one's sticking around. All right, this one here is the Main Squeeze palette from ColourPop. I'm looking at it in comparison to the Huda Beauty Ruby Obsessions. And I'm contemplating it because they're very, very, very similar. Like, so similar. I think I'm gonna declutter the Main Squeeze. I think I'm gonna declutter this one. Oh my god! I don't want to. All right. Woo, we'll leave it over there. All right, this is the Huda Beauty Amethyst Obsessions. It's a purple tone palette. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I've used it a few times, and it's a beautiful palette. So that one's going to stay. And then I also have the Baby Got Peach palette. This one is incredibly beautiful peachy tone, perfect for summer, perfect for just like a swipe on and go. Definitely holding on to this for the summer. I'm really excited about it. So that one's sticking around. Ooh. Now all three of these are staying. These are my Natasha Denona 5-pan palettes. I have the Joya and Eris from the holiday collection from a long time ago. And then I also got this in my BoxyCharm. This is the Ayana palette. So these three are staying for sure because they're really beautiful, and I love Natasha Denona palettes, and her formula is amazing. Okay, so the last three of the, oop, you can see me in here. The last three of my palettes that are left are the Venus XS palettes from Lime Crime. I have the frosted one, which is like a blue. I love this one. This one is absolutely gorgeous. So that one is going to stick around. I have Vixen, which is this like neutral pinky tone. I'm thinking I'm going to declutter this one because I have a lot of like pinky neutral tone palettes. So we're going to declutter that one. And then I have Holidays, which is like a green, beautiful green tone palette. I think I'm going to hold on to this one as well. So in total, I'm going to be decluttering 7 of my small and mini eyeshadow palettes. I didn't count the ones I'm keeping because I'm a little embarrassed and ashamed that I'm keeping so many. But I am decluttering 7 small ones, which is a pretty big deal. And I'm going to see about a few of them I got to throw away, but I'm going to see about selling a couple and see if I can, you know, get some money out of them, or see if any of my friends want any of them. But yeah, so I'm going to get rid of 7 of those, and then we will get into the large eyeshadow palette declutter. Okay, so here's the collection of larger palettes. There's also some little ones in there too that were kind of elsewhere. So let's get decluttering these ones now. So the first palette I have here is the ABH Norvina palette. I think this is volume 2. Well, it is volume 2. This is a brand new palette I just got, so that one's sticking around. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. It's very colorful, very springtime, very summer. I'm very excited to use it, so that one is staying. The next one I have here is from Etude House. This is the Personal Color Palette Pro. And there's Solomon. He's coming to join us. Little Sniffers McGee over here. Yeah. This is, I believe, summer and winter. So there's 2 of these palettes. This one is summer and winter. They're divided into seasons, which is great. I really like these palettes. They give a really nice natural wash of color. It's a very different eyeshadow formula than you would get from like the American brands or the North American brands or the Western brands. And that's what I really like, because sometimes I just want a really nice wash of color. They're beautiful palettes. I really like using them, so that one's sticking around. And this one is the second one. This is the Spring Fall. As you can see, it's quite neutral, but still little splashes of color elsewhere. It's going to keep that one a 2. The next one I have here is from Dominique Cosmetics. This is a fairly new palette I have. This is the Berries and Cream. Super beautiful palette. It's really pigmented. They're really great to use. They're not super powdery. I really like this one as well. And this is the second Dominique Cosmetics. This is a Rustic Glam palette. As you can see in there, it's quite a neutral with the pop of blue and pink and purple. It's actually a really beautiful color palette. I really like using it. Beautiful formula. All right, so this one I'm going to declutter. This is the iconic London, whatever it is, Day to Slay. It's just a neutral palette. It works well. I mean, I've used it quite a bit, but to me it's just huge, and I have a lot more that are the same color palette, so that one's going to be decluttered. The next one I have here is from Melt Cosmetics. This is the Impulsive palette. This is actually the only palette I own from Melt Cosmetics. I really like this. I'm going to be keeping it because it is the only palette I own. I love the shimmers. The shimmers in this are beautiful. I love the like grungy side, and then you've got more of a shimmery side. It's a really beautiful palette. It's really chunky though, so be aware on that front, but I really like it, so I'm going to keep that one. The next one I have here is from Too Faced. This is the Natural Matte palette. Love this palette. Again, reason why I'm getting rid of the iconic London ones, because I have quite a few, well, don't have quite a few, but I have a few of these like neutrally palettes. So that one is sticking around too. The next one I have here is from Color, well, it's a Empty Pins and Magnetic palettes. These are all my ColourPop singles. I love these. I love ColourPop shadows. They're beautiful shadows. And I'm totally keeping this one as well. Okay, so this one is the Esmeralda 2 by Beauty Creations. This one came in a BoxyCharm. I have not touched it at all, and I do not think I will ever touch it, so I'm going to declutter this one as well. This one hurts me, but this one's going to be decluttered as well. This is the Urban Decay Urban Spectrum palette. I have not used this in a long time. It's super beautiful. It's all shimmer, except yeah, it's all like a shimmery palette. It's a beautiful palette. I really love it, but I do not use it. So that one's going. The next one I have here also came in BoxyCharm. This is the Lime Crime Venus 3. I love the color palette in here, which reminds me, I gotta look at, oh no, I'm already getting rid of the pink one. Never mind. I decluttered the mini one, so I'm gonna keep this one for sure. And then I have another ColourPop one, and this is the Mandalorian, the Child palette. Beautiful grungy greens. I love Star Wars. Definitely keeping this one. Next up is another BoxyCharm palette. This is the Ace Beauté Nostalgia palette. Look at those colors. Can we say a beautiful? I love this palette. I've used it a couple times. It's amazing. I love the formula of it. It's the only Ace Beauté product I have, so that one is staying as well. All right, next one I have here is the Too Faced Cinnamon Bear palette. I love this palette. It's like a pinky red. It doesn't smell like cinnamon, so it's like a pinky red tone palette with a blush at the bottom. It's a really cute, great little palette. Came with like a little bag and jelly bag and everything. It's a really cute palette, so that one's sticking around as well. All right, so this one is the Disney Princess palette. This is the Disney Designer Collection from ColourPop. Again, I love Disney, so it's staying obviously, but the colors in this are really beautiful neutrals. Definitely an everyday type of palette. And then I also have this one, again, Disney Designer Collection. This is the Midnight Masquerade one. It's like the night version to that day version. Beautiful neutrals. Sticking around because it's Disney. This one, I'm a little torn about. This one I got from Tyler for Christmas a couple years ago. I want to keep it because it was a gift from him, and he tried very, very hard. So I think I'm actually going to keep it because the sentimental value to it. This is a pretty rich palette by Too Faced. The glitters in it are beautiful. The shadows are really beautiful. It's just really bulky packaging, so I'm going to hold on to that one as well. Another palette sticking around because I love Sailor Moon. This is the Pretty Guardian palette. Again, look at those pastels. They're so beautiful. I love them. So that one is staying as well. And then I have the Pretty Gulf Vulgar Phoenix Rising palette. This one is all warm tone browns with that pop of purple at the bottom. However, I have a lot of warm tone palettes, so I think I'm gonna be I'm gonna declutter this one. So this one is gonna be decluttered. I have this one by Juvia's Place. This is my only Juvia's Place. This is the Zulu by Julia's. Look at those colors. Again, beautiful rainbow, really bright, colorful palette. Really love it. Totally keeping it. And then I have this one. This is the Amrezi palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm wearing this today on my eyes, though you can't see it. I love this palette. It's beautiful. You can create neutral looks. You can create really colorful looks. It's a really versatile palette, and I really love it. Here's the deal. I've got these Frozen 2 palettes from ColourPop. I have Anna and I have the Elsa one. These are sentimental as well. I do cosplay as Anna, as my kid-friendly princess. Specifically in this outfit from Frozen 2. So this is a sentimental one that's being kept for sure. And the colors inside are absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, I also have Elsa, just to complete the collection here. Again, really beautiful neutrals with those pops of blue. This is more of a cool tone palette. Really beautiful. Totally same. Next up, I have the Love palette from Too Faced. I'm gonna declutter this one. I've used it quite a bit. I think I got it in a makeup swap, and I've used it quite a bit, but I feel like someone else could get much more use out of it than I can, so I'm gonna declutter this one. Next up is my only palette from Kat Von D before it became KVD. This is her 10th anniversary palette. Oh, it's gorgeous. Definitely holding on to this one. They're super soft, really pigmented. They're just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shades. Next palette I have is the Alyssa Edwards from ABH. Again, this one is a sentimental one for me. Me and Nicole and Brittany saw Alyssa Edwards in person, and I was just waiting for this palette to show up at Marshall or at Winners or Marshalls, and when it did, I was like, okay, I gotta get this. So I picked it up, and yeah, it's a beautiful palette. I really like the colors in it. The hot pink is so very Alyssa Edwards, so that one's sticking around. I have the Buxom, I think this is the White Russian on the Rocks eyeshadow palette. This is the only Buxom eyeshadow palette I have, but what's great about this palette is you can actually pull out the shades and replace them if you ever run out. It's a really beautiful pink neutral palette. I really like using it as just a subtle wash of color. The packaging's beautiful. Staying. I have a couple I do have an extra couple mini palettes in here because they just happen to be in my other drawer and I didn't notice. This is the Thumper palette from ColourPop. Again, I love Bambi. I love Disney anything. I only picked up this one because the other two I felt like I had them already. This is a cool tone 5-pan palette from little mini one from ColourPop. It's definitely staying. I promise I'm getting rid of some. I have like 5 already I'm getting rid of. Next up, I have this Beauty Bakery Breakfast in Bed palette. This is a beautiful neutral palette. I love it. It's the only Beauty Bakery product at all that I own because you can't get Beauty Bakery in Canada yet. At least not widely available where I live. And yeah, it's a beautiful palette. Really like it. Sticking around. Next up, I have the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I love this palette. This palette is perfect for spring and summer. The pinks are beautiful. The shimmers are gorgeous. It's just an all-around really nice neutral palette. I have the Lime Crime Venus XL2. This is a fairly new palette to me, but I love it. It's one of my favorites. I love the grungy color scheme in there with like the dusty mauves and like the sage greens and stuff. Definitely sticking around. This one took me so long to get my hands on. This is the NYX Grind palette. This one came out in their Steampunk collection, and it is gorgeous. An amazing fall-winter palette. So grungy, So beautiful. I love it. I also have this one from Storybook Cosmetics. I love these palettes, the book ones. This one's Little Briar Rose. But if you could see, like, it's like a neutral palette with a pop of blue. I love it. I think it's a beautiful packaging itself. Like, it sits up like a book. You can put it up like a book. It's really sweet. But yeah, so that one is sticking around as well. All right, I have the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. This one, again, was, I waited to get my hands on it because I wasn't paying full price for it. So this one is staying around because I love it. I love Huda Beauty shadows, so that one is sticking around for sure. I also have the Huda Beauty Naughty Nudes, as I mentioned when I did my little ones. This is a darker nudes palette. Like, it's really, really beautiful. They've got the really cool ones. This shade here is a little weird, to be honest. It's like a cream shade, but there's not a lot of pigment to it. Like, it's like a gloss for your lids. But I love it, and I'm totally keeping that one too. All right, so this one is my oldest palette that I have. This one I bought a long time ago. I'm not gonna say how long time ago I bought it, but this is the Double Exposure from Smashbox. Beautiful neutrals. It's supposed to be able to be used wet and dry. I don't use it for wet and dry. It's a perfect palette when you want to do like cosplay looks that don't involve a lot of makeup. So it's perfect for that. But I also have a Full Exposure, which is a little newer with the same type of shades in it. So I think I'm going to declutter this one because I have a lot of the neutral browns. And I'm going to declutter this one, and I'm going to hold on to the Double Exposure. Okay, so I've switched sides here to do the rest of this stuff. There's these palettes, the rest of this declutter. So without further ado, let's get into it. The next one here is this Tarte palette. This one is from Christmas a couple of years ago. This is their Ulta palette. Again, it's that brown neutral, but I love the packaging on it. It's the only like holiday palette I've gotten from anywhere really. So this one is definitely sticking around. I really like it. Next up is this Urban Decay. This is the Vice 4. This is the Vice 4 palette. And as you can see, it is gorgeous. It's a beautiful palette, but I really like this palette, so I'm kind of torn. I think I'm going to hold on to it until my next declutter. If I don't use it by the time I do the next declutter, then I will declutter this one. So this one's going to stay. The next one up I have here is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. This is a warm, really warm tone palette. It's very similar to the Phoenix Rising, which is why I've decluttered that one. I like this one much more. This is one of their medium-sized palettes. They're $81 ones. I've had this for like a couple of years. I use it a ton in the summer and the fall, so this one is going to stay. Next up, I have the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. I love this palette. It smells like chocolate. It's the only palette I have in the chocolate bar like line. It smells amazing. It looks amazing when it comes to like holiday looks, really, like Christmas time and in winter, like when you're going to parties or like winter weddings or stuff like that. It's absolutely beautiful. You can get a ton of looks out of it. And I really like this one. All right, I also have the Venus XL. This is the original one, the red and pinky tone one. I love these palettes. They're really actually very, very good palettes. I love using them. I gotta watch though, because they'll have the, hang on. I also have the cherry. I'm trying to think. No, this one's brighter than the cherry. So I think I'm gonna keep both of these. So that's the Naked Cherry there. Urban Decay's Naked Cherry, and that's the Venus XL. So I think both of these are gonna stay. I really like these palettes, so that one is sticking around. I also have the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. This one, again, I would not buy it full price, but when it went on sale, I jumped on it. I love this palette. It's a beautiful warm tone gold palette. It's not super orange though, like it's like brown and yellow gold. It's absolutely beautiful. I love using it. It's a beautiful palette. Next up, again, is a palette that I absolutely love, and you can tell she well loved. This is the Norvina palette from ABH. It's obviously staying. I love it. I love the purples. I love the pinks. Purple's my favorite color, so that one is definitely staying. I also have a couple Pat McGrath palettes. This one is the Mothership Sublime Bronze Ambition palette. It's very, very bronze. My cat's scratching. It's very, very bronze. And it's very, like, it's only got the one matte in it, so it's very shimmery bronze. I love the Pat McGrath formula. I just can't justify spending full price on it, so when this went on sale, I did pick it up. So and that one is staying as well. Oh, this one's a little old. The Urban Decay Electric palette, the original rainbow palette. I have used this so much in cosplay because these pigments are perfect for cosplay. I am keeping this palette for sure because it's a perfect palette when it comes to like colorful cosplay, when you're looking at body paint, or if you're dealing with more extreme makeup. This one is perfect. I also have the Urban Decay Jean-Michel Basquiat. I decluttered the other one, and I think I may declutter this one too. I think I'm going to, because I think the Norvina one kind of takes care of this, like the rainbow one, when it comes to that one, takes care of all these colors. So I think this one is going to go. And I have the Ulta Beauty Matte Neutrals palette. This is an all matte palette, which is all neutrals. Perfect for a natural makeup look. However, I also have most of these colors in other ones, so I think I'm going to declutter this one too. And I have the Riviera palette. Again, this was one that I think I asked Nicole to pick it up if she saw it at Winners, and I think she did one day. She picked it up for me. I love this palette. This palette's perfect for summer. It's super bright colors. Like, it's just beautiful. I love it. So that one is staying. And then I have the MAC Classic Cutie palette. This is one of their older palettes. I love the purples in it. The neutrals, the highlighter is not, like, it's super, super subtle. This is a very, very subtle palette, but hang on, let me see something. No, it's much more subtler than the Norvina. It's much more subtler than the Norvina. It's very nice for, again, a classic look. If you're just looking for a simple wash of color over your eyes and then a highlight on your cheek, this is a perfect palette for that. It's gotten a lot of good use. I really like it. It's the only MAC palette I own, so I'm going to hold on to that one. All right, so the next one up here is I have the Naked Smoky. This was one of the first palettes I ever bought, to be honest. And I love it. It's perfect for like neutral looks as well, like smoky and neutral looks if you're looking for something lighter, a little darker. I also have the Urban Decay Smoked palette, which is quite similar. I think the top shades, I believe, a lot of the shades are the same. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to this one, and I'm going to declutter the Smoked. So I'm going to hold on to the Urban Decay Naked Smoky. So that one I'm going to hold on to, and then I'm going to declutter the Urban Decay Naked Smoked palette. So that's going to go. I have another Pat McGrath palette. This one is the Mothership Sublime. It says Bronze Temptation too, but I don't know. It's not the Bronze Temptation. This one's one with the green in it. It is bronzy, but it's got green in it. I love this palette. This is perfect for Christmas and holiday looks. I absolutely love it. Totally gonna keep it. This is another one I'm going to declutter. This is the Urban Decay Beached eyeshadow palette. It's a gorgeous palette. It's just I have so many of the like same colors that I don't think I need this one anymore. So I'm gonna declutter that one as well. So that one's gonna go. I'm actually gonna declutter this one as well. This is from Essence. This is their Counting Hearts eyeshadow palette. It's a beautiful big palette, but it's just, I don't use it. So I kind of have most of these colors in other palettes as well. So I think I'm going to declutter this one. This next one is from Makeup Forever. This is the neutral one, I think. The Palette 9 Artist Shadow. I believe this one is the neutral one. So as you can see, it's very neutral, but it's got that pink and the little like grayish blue. This is perfect again for like makeup for cosplay or costume looks or photo shoot looks. It's a perfect palette, so that one is sticking around. Next up, I have this palette from Hamish. This is their, I do not know because it's all in Korean, but it's kind of their like smoky palette. It's a gorgeous palette, but again, I have all these, I think, in other palettes. Yeah, like, I mean, it's, you can see the same, like, it's almost the same color scheme there. So I think this is a really, really good palette, but I think I'm gonna declutter it. So that one's gonna go. I'm gonna keep it nice and smoky. I got this in a makeup swap. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Eyeshadow Palette. This palette is beautiful. It's a beautiful neutral palette, great for summer. Made for summer, really. I really like using it. It's definitely a keeper. And then I have my Sephora eyeshadow Z palette. This is magnetic, so I've got a lot of, I like Etude House. These are all my loose. Obviously, this is going to stay around because this is all my loose. This is the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions. It actually came, it didn't come damaged. I bought it with a container of like brush cleanser, and the brush cleanser leaked and dissolved the glue, so it came out and I stuck it in here. And then this is all like Etude House shadows and just loose shadows that I've got, so that's sticking around. We're getting down to the end here. Last three. This is from Becca Cosmetics, and they're closing down, so I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of this. This is their Volcano Goddess palette. This was their holiday palette from, I think, a couple years ago. But look at those shimmers. They're so gorgeous. Definitely holding on to this one. It's not the greatest eyeshadow formula, but I find if you're looking just to do a simple look, it's fabulous. Second to last one. This is the Too Faced White Peach palette. I really like this palette. Contrary to what a lot of other people think about it, I really like this palette a lot. It is a fantastic palette for like cool tone neutral looks. It smells amazing. I can smell it from here. It smells great and it looks beautiful, so I'm keeping that one. And the last one I have is from Smashbox. I got this in a makeup swap as well. And this is the On the Rocks Photo Op eyeshadow palette. I think I've used this, like, it's a beautiful palette, but I think I've used it like once. So for me, I think I'm gonna declutter this because I just don't use it. So, and it's really bulky, so I think I'm gonna declutter this as well. All right, so out of my big eyeshadow palettes, I'm actually gonna get rid of 13 of them. I'm gonna try to sell them. If I can't sell them, I'm gonna put them in makeup swap. And yeah, so that is my eyeshadow palette declutter. It's not a big declutter because I've seen people get rid of like half. I don't think I'm at that point yet, but I do have a few that I'm kind of like, are they on the chopping block? And I think there is some that will be. But this is just the start of it, and I'm gonna get that out of the way and then move on from there. All right, that's it for this video. If you like this video, give me a big thumbs up down below. And what have you decluttered lately? Let me know in the comment section. Also, if you like this content and want to see more of it, don't forget to hit the little red subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when I post new content, which is really inconsistent at this time, hit the little bell next to it. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye!